Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey friends, welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 236. I'm Phil Graham. I've got a great show for you guys today. I'm going to be sharing 3 common Facebook ad mistakes that many advertisers make, and they could cost you a fortune. So anybody who's running ads on Facebook or Instagram, so many of you have made this mistake, or you are about to make this mistake. And these mistakes that I'm going to talk about today can be very, very costly. Now, I've done episodes about other mistakes people make, and I'm not going to talk about the same things that I talked about in previous episodes. Things like running ads without a high skill level, or not giving your ads enough time, or not leading with value and just going straight for the sale. I've said that. I'm not going to talk about those on this episode. I've got some different things for you, but these are still very common mistakes people make. So make sure you guys listen to this because you do not want to be making these mistakes. So I hope you guys are doing really well. I'm recording this on Monday, November 15th, 2021. Hope you guys all had a great weekend. We did, except for the Seahawks losing. That kind of sucked. But other than that, we had a great weekend. I can't believe here in the US, Thanksgiving is in a week and a half. That's just crazy. And it is just a great time of year. The holidays are coming up. Advertising is going great. And there's so many opportunities. I hope you guys are leveraging those for your business and for your family. Now, if you guys want to get in touch, maybe you're looking for some one-on-one coaching, a Facebook ad mentor, or maybe you want somebody to actually run your ads for you, someone you can trust. For either of those things, you can go to my website, philgrahamdigital.com, or just DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital, and let's connect. We'll hop on a short Zoom call, see if you're the right fit, and go from there. So with that being said, I want to jump right into this week's episode and talk about 3 common Facebook and Instagram ad mistakes most people make that literally could cost you a ton of money. Before I do that, I've got a little teaser. I'm going to be announcing something on this podcast in a couple of weeks, actually 2 different things. One is a brand new project I'm working on that's going to be completely free for you guys. And I can't say too much more other than stay tuned. It's really cool. And the other one is another free thing that I'm actually going to be releasing to you that I can't say much more about either. So I know this is just a total tease here, but main thing is just make sure you guys stay tuned. I'll be announcing some very cool things sometime in the next couple of weeks. So let's jump right into the episode. Like I said, I'm not going to cover the common mistakes I've already talked about in previous episodes. We're going to talk about some different ones that I haven't mentioned as much. And let's start with number 1. I'm going to give you guys 3 mistakes plus a bonus mistake. You want to make sure you're not making any of these, because either one of these, any one of these, can cost you a lot of money. So number 1, and this is very common, I would say over 90% of the businesses I work with, whether I'm running ads for them or consulting or coaching them, when they first come to me, they're making this mistake. And we have to work on that and fix it. And that is focusing primarily or only on the product or service versus who the product or service is from. So many people do that. Let me ask you a question. Would you rather learn from LeBron James or Oprah Winfrey? What would be your answer? Well, here's the thing. How can you answer unless I say learn what? Because if you just said LeBron and I said, would you rather learn broadcasting? You would have the wrong answer. Or if you said Oprah and then I said, well, what if it's basketball? You would have the wrong answer. So it's not just the topic you would be learning, but who you're learning from. Who you're learning from is just as important as what you're learning. You're not going to want to learn basketball from Oprah. It's the same thing when it comes to your product or service. It's not just about how good your product or service is. It's about who's offering that product or service as a brand, whether that's you personally or your company brand. Those 2 things, the quality of your product or service, along with who you are as a brand, are equally important, yet most advertisers focus only on one and not the other. They just focus on the product or service they provide. So I want you to stop and think if you've ever done that before and think about how you can change that. This doesn't mean that you don't talk about the product or service, but it does mean you talk about why they should get it from you. What is your differentiation in the marketplace? What makes you different? What makes you unique? People can get things from just about anywhere these days. Why should they trust you? Why should they learn from you? Why should they buy from you? Doesn't matter if you're a coach, consultant, a digital course creator, a local business, an e-commerce shop, no matter what kind of business you are, why should they buy from you? And if you focus on that, in addition to the product or service that you provide, that will be a game changer. Trust me, most people do not focus on that. They're only focused on the product or service. I want you to focus on both instead. And make sure that you differentiate your product or service and why they should buy it from you. And you communicate that differentiation effectively. And not just how you're different, but most importantly, how does that difference benefit your customers or clients? That's so important. So don't make that mistake of just focusing on the product or service. That's number one. Number two, another common one, I get this all the time. People find someone who's really inexpensive to run their Facebook ads. I get why people do that, but most people don't understand. It's literally shooting themselves in the foot. It's kind of like if the Lakers wanted to win a championship and they went out and got the cheapest players. Like, people will play for free if you let them. But there's a reason why there's nobody playing for free in the NBA, because you're there to win. There's not many things that are more important than business. I mean, obviously your life is, your family and different things like that. But your business is definitely one of the key important things in your life for most people. And it's just crazy to me that people trust their advertising to somebody who is like doing it for minimum wage or small amounts of money. It is a huge mistake. And so many people come to me for coaching or to have us run ads for them who have done that already. And they've wasted time, wasted money, wasted opportunity, etc. Don't fall into that trap. Do not fall into that trap. Anybody who's really good at running ads is not going to do it cheaply. So the thing is, here's what you need to focus on. Either pay somebody what they're worth to run ads for you and know that you're going to have to pay a premium, which is totally fine and smart, or focus on learning how to do this the right way yourself if you can't or don't want to pay somebody else to do it. One of those two things is the secret to your success for most of you guys. But paying somebody who's cheap is not going to get you where you want to be. So make sure that you don't make that mistake. Don't have somebody cheap run your ads. And then number three, and then I'll give you a bonus one as well. But number three, this is actually really important as of earlier this year because of all the iOS privacy changes. Another big mistake people make is not tying their ad data together from various sources. So in the past, before all the iOS privacy changes, you used to be able to just run ads and kind of trust the Facebook Ads Manager data, and that's really all you needed. However, Facebook is a lot more limited in data to what they know off the site of Facebook. When people go off Facebook onto your site, Facebook is much more limited than they ever have been in the past. Now, advertising is still extremely effective. However, you have to be good at it to succeed in most cases, whereas before you could just be average and succeed. But part of the way to get really good at it is knowing that, hey, we don't just look at the ad data in Ads Manager. We tie different sources of data together to tell a story of whether it's working or not. So some of the things we do is, of course, we do use Facebook ad data, but we also use data from Google Analytics, And we also use data from Hotjar heat maps, and also either, depending on the client, could be from WordPress stats or from Shopify stats or another stat platform. And then you could also use UTMs that can give you more data as well. So it's not about just using one of those things. It's about getting data from all of those sources, putting them together to actually tell you a story, what's working and what isn't working. And that elevates you. And as you get better at evaluating that data, it's not just getting the data, but then you have to evaluate it properly. You get really good at that. And that is what can separate you from all the other advertisers who are not that good. So don't make the mistake of either only using Facebook ad data and nothing else, or just thinking that it doesn't work anymore because the iOS privacy changes came out. Like, that's not true. It definitely still works. And then I'm going to give you guys a bonus mistake. I've talked about this one a little bit before previously, but it's still really important. Another mistake advertisers make is not diversifying their ad objectives. So many advertisers just use one objective or maybe two, and that's it. And they never try anything else. There's so many good objectives that are really good in different scenarios and situations. And sometimes we'll test an objective and it'll get us a 5 or 10 times better return. So you never know. So it's always smart to test objectives. Don't fall into the trap of only using one or two and never testing anything else, because that is a mistake, my friends. So I hope this was helpful. Like I said, this was different than some of the other mistakes I've talked about in the past. Any one of these mistakes could cost you a lot of money. So make sure that you are not making them. Episode 236 is in the books, my friends. Hope you guys have a phenomenal week. Again, if you want to get in touch, philgrahamdigital.com is the website, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital. Got some cool announcements coming up, so stay tuned for that, and I will talk to you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit philgrahamdigital.com/podcast.